Live from Innovation Park on the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Tuesday, April 13th. Tonight, we'll tell you all you need to know about the vaccination clinic opening in the BJC, as well as updates on the CDC halting distribution of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
We also have more on Penn State's COVID-19 relief grants for students, along with entertainment, sports, and weather.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ben Russell.
And I'm Madison Miller.
State College police responded to reports of a homicide on Mountain Avenue in Haines Township at approximately 4:30 a.m. this past Thursday morning. The police found Robert W. Farwell, who had suffered a single stab wound and later died from his injuries at Mount Nittany Medical Center. The homicide investigation is in relation to a domestic incident between Farwell and another woman, and there is no current threat to the public. Reports say that Farwell and the woman engaged in an argument, and the woman then locked herself in a bathroom as Farwell verbally attacked her and threatened to kick down the door. The woman then proceeded to tell Farwell that if he didn't move away, she would stab him. The two then lunged at each other, and Farwell suffered a stab wound to his chest, later resulting in his death. The woman is not in custody, and the investigation is still ongoing.
Penn State University will award cash grants to more than 23,000 students under their federal COVID-19 relief funding. The university will disperse at least $27.5 million of its $85 million Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund 2, which matched the dollar amount Penn State students received last year under the CARES Act. The grants will be awarded to students based on the financial needs determined by the 2021 free application for federal student aid. Students that are Pell Grant eligible will receive $1,200. In a statement, Penn State President Eric Barron commented, "The university is thankful for funding for students, and we look forward to getting it into our students' hands quickly so they can begin to ease financial strain and allow them to focus on their studies with less worries."
Center County reported 79 new COVID-19 cases on Saturday to bring the total up to 15,215, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Health. Pennsylvania as a whole added 4,882 new cases, which brings the statewide total to 1,068,974. The county did also report 131 additional negative results, bringing the total to 65,923. 29 more people were hospitalized in Center County this weekend, 4 more than Friday, while 5 are in intensive care and 3 are on ventilators. Center County reported no new deaths, which kept the total at 213 for the 35th consecutive day. With 40 new deaths reported statewide, Pennsylvania's total is 25,402.
We have breaking news regarding the vaccination clinic at the Bryce Jordan Center. The state-run regional clinic will be on temporary hiatus until at least April 20th. Pennsylvania is following federal guidance to pause administering the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. The BJC was originally scheduled to operate on April 15th from noon to 8 p.m. on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. 600 doses were expected to be given out each day, and more details on the pause are expected to come.
Coming up next, Tusha Pham will bring you the latest in entertainment after this week's weather report.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good evening, Penn State. I'm student meteorologist Christopher Tate here with your PSN forecast. Hope you've all had a great start to this week. Let's dive right on into the weather headlines, which feature several opportunities for precipitation, maybe even a little bit of mixed precipitation towards the latter half of the week. That all precedes a brief decline in temperatures, but we will rebound from that as we head into the first half of next week. And yes, you did hear me mention snow. You did hear that correctly. Let's start off with the Pennsylvania Drought Tracker as updated last week. Much of the state is relatively drought-free, just some moderate drought that's level 2 out of 5 across parts of the Northwest Plateau and off towards Lake Erie, where they've been a little bit rain-deprived over the last couple of weeks. But that will change, as you'll see in the next couple of minutes. Here is a look at the upper air heights. This gives us kind of a general idea of how the flow looks about halfway up the troposphere, a few kilometers above the Earth's surface. This gives us an idea of broad circulations and how those may impact our weather here at the surface. And a couple of things I want you to pay very close attention to. During the day on Wednesday, you can see this sort of ridge pattern in eastern Pennsylvania. That'll be pushing eastward, and that'll mark the end of warm conditions here in the Keystone State, at least for a couple of days. It'll be replaced by this area of bluish colors, this circular region passing over the Great Lakes and almost right over Pennsylvania. That's a low pressure system, and it's associated with sinking air and, based on this positioning, northerly winds aloft here in central Pennsylvania. What does that mean for us? Well, that means we'll be bringing in cooler air from above us and cooler air from north of us. So several opportunities for us to get cooler air brought into Pennsylvania, and that's why we're looking at the possibility for some snow in parts of the Keystone State during the day, during the first half of the day on Friday. That little area of low pressure aloft will push out of our area during the first half of the weekend, and then by Sunday we'll be back to a more familiar pattern, which will feature gradually warming conditions and a couple of rounds of precip. Here's how things look at the surface with more widespread showers than we've seen the last couple of days on Wednesday. So you want to keep the umbrella handy, keep the raincoat handy as well during the afternoon hours, especially on Wednesday. Those showers will be more abundant. They'll last for more of the day on Thursday, so keep the umbrella handy once again during the day on Thursday. We'll have a brief reprieve Thursday night into the wee hours of Friday morning, but then notice the American computer model here is trying to put down a little bit of snow just to our west. I think we'll have an opportunity to see some novelty flakes here in State College, more persistent snows as you head into the northeastern corner of the state and off into the interior northeast. The surface low pressure system, much like the one aloft, will push eastward in the first half of the weekend, and we'll have a brief reprieve from precipitation on Saturday. But then as we switch back to that more familiar pattern I was just mentioning aloft, we'll see a couple of opportunities for some rounds of precipitation here at the surface, especially Sunday into the first half of the day on Monday. In terms of hard accumulation numbers, here's one computer model's take on how things may unfold. About 0.2 of an inch here in State College through the first half of the weekend, but then we'll pick up another 0.4 of an inch to maybe half an inch by the time all is said and done and we make it to the middle of next week. This won't completely quell the drought in the northwestern corner of the state, but it will put a pretty big dent into it. No precip to worry about tonight, though. 45 degrees for your overnight low, just under abundant clouds, a mostly cloudy night here in Happy Valley. Then during the day tomorrow, 61 degrees for your afternoon high with those afternoon showers that will help us cool down a pretty decent bit as we head into the end of the day Wednesday, the first half of Thursday. The 7-day forecast shows that Thursday and Friday will be cooler, about 12 degrees cooler than average for this time of year, but then we will be warming back up as we head into the first half of next week, with average highs around 61 and average lows around 42. From the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm student meteorologist Christopher Tate. Have a great rest of your week.
The Lion is currently Penn State's student radio station. Alex Hansen, Penn State Jr., is the current president of the Lion.
I'm here at the station. This is where all of the Lion's broadcasts and shows take place. The station has its own studio based right here in the hub.
Hansen has been the president of the Lion for almost a year now and had joined the station in 2018, his freshman year. Hansen wanted to start his own radio show because he had grown up near Philly and says that he had grown up listening to all of the different stations and really got inspired by them.
And my biggest thing was I wanted to, at least if I was going to get into radio, I wanted to be able to talk about what I wanted to and play whatever music I wanted to, whether that be, rap, reggae, rock, pop, hip hop, anything. I just want to play it. And I got involved based off of that.
As president, he has a lot of day-to-day tasks that he has to keep up with in order to keep the station up and running. His day-to-day tasks include responding to emails, helping out the show hosts, outreach, and training new members.
I wanted to be president, honestly, because the station was a little messed up and I wanted to fix it. There was a lot of bad communication issues, and I also saw a lot of room for improvement and growth.
The pandemic has added on a lot more challenges for the station. Hansen says he got thrown into his presidency at the start of the pandemic and had to deal with a lot of unfamiliar issues. The station didn't have ways of remote broadcasting and had to find ways to adjust to broadcasting under the new COVID guidelines.
It was that initial figuring it out stage that was brutal, and that was a solid 3 months of just kind of figuring it out as you go and BSing a little bit. But once I got past that, it has been a piece of cake.
In State College, I'm Gabby Triola reporting.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Tisha Pham with your entertainment update. Yeehaw! American singer-songwriter Kane Brown is making a stop at the Bryce Jordan Center as part of his 35-city North American tour, Blessed and Free, on Saturday, November 6th. Registration for pre-sale began last Thursday at 11 a.m. at kanebrownlive.com, while general public sales will open Friday, April 16th at 10 a.m. on Ticketmaster. Penn State students will receive $20 off ticket sales from the Penn State Student Fee Board. Sales for students will begin Thursday, April 15th at 10 a.m. and can be accessed through Account Manager. Students must provide a valid Penn State ID. Other performers will include singer Jordan Davis and Restless Road. Buckle up, partner. This is going to be a hog-killing time. April is Pride Month, and Penn State has a variety of events to celebrate. PSN News field reporter Caroline Diaz has the details on those local events.
Penn State is kicking off its Pride Month festivities with events spanning all throughout April. Though National Pride Month isn't until June, the Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity recognizes Pride throughout the month of April. Intended to foster allyship, these events promote healthy discussion around the community with a fun twist. Campus recreation plays a huge part in Penn State Pride Month, with themed workout events at the IM Building and McCoy Natatorium. However, not all events will be in person due to COVID-19. According to the calendar, most events will be held virtually. April 16th at 6 p.m., openly gay Grammy Award winner Jonathan Groff will be hosting a webinar through WPSU. April 20th on the Hub Lawn, the center will be hosting a karaoke night. The Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity hopes that with Penn State Pride Month, students will recognize that they have a safe space at the university. Eric Duran highlights the importance of Penn State celebrating Pride Month as a whole.
One, I hope that people realize that our center exists not only for LGBTQ plus students, but for everybody. And, with that is also, again, just showing that students can feel welcome and comfortable and included no matter what area of campus that they go to.
Reporting for PSN News, I'm Caroline Diaz.
Swifties, look what you made her do. T-Swizzle has officially made a comeback. After receiving a great deal of support from Love Story Taylor's version, she has re-released her 2008 album, Fearless, adding 6 new songs to the remasters, including a never-before-heard single titled You All Over Me. Back in February, Swift announced that she re-recorded Fearless as Fearless Taylor's version. The new album has a total of 26 songs, including 6 songs from the vault. Swift did not officially announce a release date. However, she posted a note on social media with strange capitalizations that spelled out April 9th. Our wildest dreams finally came true. In a statement announced by his family last Friday, DMX, whose real name is Earl Simmons, has died at age 50. DMX was in critical condition after going into cardiac arrest on April 2nd. He had been on life support at a hospital in White Plains, New York. The rapper and actor struggled with drug addiction from an early age, first becoming addicted to crack cocaine when he was just 14. Known for his distinctively gruff voice and thoughtful messages in his rhymes, he quickly became one of rap's biggest stars. He rapped with a trademark delivery, often paired with his famous growls, barks, and his signature "what" ad-libs. His family released a statement saying, quote, "Earl was a warrior who fought till the very end. He loved his family with all of his heart, and we cherish the times we spent with him. Earl's music inspired countless fans across the world, and his iconic legacy will live on forever," end quote. Although the cause of his death is still unknown, his family said they would share information during his memorial services. That was your entertainment update. Stay tuned because after the break, Carlos Garcia will bring you the latest from the world of sports.
The Ocean City Fire Department helped the Easter Bunny greet children throughout town on Saturday, April 3rd. He rode on top of the fire truck at 10 a.m. and finished at City Hall at 12:30. Easter Sunday events included an Easter Sunrise non-denominational service at 6:30 a.m. at the Ocean City Music Pier. The Philly Keys also performed on Easter Sunday for an outdoor show, fun for the whole family. Families also could download the Ocean City Vacation app to show the progress of the bunny. They also were given a link that would give them notifications to track where the bunny was.
I got a chance to speak with Emma Lennon, a freshman at Penn State University who spent her Easter in Ocean City, New Jersey. Was Easter different this year than it has been in past years since of COVID?
Definitely. They used to have a huge Easter egg hunt on the beach, and I think they switched it to being in some select stores on the boardwalk, which is what I noticed because we did go on the boardwalk. And yeah, usually like our whole family will be down, but it was just my mom and my sisters this year.
There was also the Great Egg Hunt on Saturday, April 3rd. Children under the age of 7 were able to go on the boardwalk and go to different stores with their families and get little eggs with surprises inside. For PSN News, this is Carly Knowlton.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Carlos Garcia with your sports update. Following Sunday's victory, Penn State women's soccer is moving on in the Big Ten tournament later this week. After starting off slow, the Nittany Lions caught up to the fast-paced Indiana Hoosiers and took them down 3-1 in the Big Ten regional weekend opening matchup. Forward Ali Schlegel led the way for the Nittany Lions, scoring 2 goals at the 11 and 59-minute marks, while Frankie Tagliaferri added a goal of her own. The team totaled 10 shots, including 7 on goal in the victory. Penn State goalkeeper Catherine Asman was phenomenal in the net, allowing only 1 goal on 15 Hoosier shots. Penn State will now host Iowa at 7:30 p.m. this Thursday at Jeffrey Field. The winner will move on to the Big Ten championship game on April 18th against the winner of Wisconsin and Rutgers. Penn State wrestling has wrapped up its season with a 4-0 record in the NCAA Finals. PSN News field reporter Megan Swift got the chance to speak with wrestler Roman Bravo Young about the season. Take a look.
Penn State's men's wrestling team had a fantastic season this spring, ending with a perfect 4-0 in the NCAA Finals in St. Louis, Missouri. I sat down to talk about the season with junior Roman Bravo Young, one of the 4 wrestlers to win their first individual crown.
As you can see, it went pretty well towards the end, and dream come true. But, it was really rough throughout the beginning. We had a pause, a lot of ups and downs. I mean, I had COVID, and a lot of people had COVID. We couldn't really train. It was just cool to get it done and to see Nick Lee, Aaron Brooks, and Carter win as well. And just to see them happy because we see them train. I see them train every day, and I see them when they get hurt. No one else sees all the stuff that goes in the room, the ups and downs. So, it's cool to see them happy too.
Both Bravo Young and sophomore Aaron Brooks were finalists for the Dan Hodge Trophy, which is awarded each year to the nation's best college wrestler. While neither ended up winning, both finished 14-0 for the season.
I'm just grateful to be part of it, and not even talking about the wrestling. My life changed off the mat. They're all good people. They really molded me, or still mold me into a way better human being. I think that's going to go a long way too. Not even counting the wrestling, because the wrestling ends one day, but I think just counting them and all the people in there, they're all good people. And I don't come from the best kind of neighborhood, but I think I'm just glad who I'm becoming along the way. I think it's not about winning or losing what makes it a champion, but I think it's how you grow throughout the journey.
I'm Megan Swift reporting on Penn State Wrestling for PSN News.
On Sunday, the 85th Masters concluded at the Augusta Golf Course, crowning Hideki Matsuyama as the bearer of the prestigious green jacket. Matsuyama is the first golfer of Japanese descent to win the Masters after shooting 10 under par over the weekend tournament. The 29-year-old was bunched with his competitors before an hour-long rain delay on Saturday shot him into the lead. As is tradition, last year's winner, Dustin Johnson, who failed to make the cut this year after struggling on the course, presented Matsuyama with his green jacket, which etched him into Masters and golfing folklore. Congratulations to Matsuyama and the Japanese community on this mighty victory. Former NFL player PHILLIP Adams died by apparent suicide last week after killing 5 people in Rock Hill, South Carolina. The victims were prominent doctor Robert Leslie, his wife Barbara Leslie, their 2 grandchildren Ada and Noah, who were 9 and 5 respectively, and James Lewis, who was working at the doctor's home. There's also an unidentified 6th victim who is being treated in the hospital. Adams took his own life when officers obtained a warrant to enter his house after an hour of searching for a suspect. Adams was drafted to the NFL in 2010 by the San Francisco 49ers, but was cut before the 2011 season due to injury, leading him to bounce around the league for several years before retiring in 2015. Our thoughts go out to all those involved in this tragedy. That was your sports update. This week, our interview anchor, Juliana Turdo, spoke with Keith Griffith, a member of the Blue Band, about the upcoming spring football practice and the band's experience during the pandemic.
The COVID-19 pandemic, beloved Penn State football was unable to have their typical student audience for their 2020 fall season. But as we are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine rollout, Penn State freshmen have been granted with the opportunity to attend the blue and white game this year. I have the opportunity to speak with Keith Griffith today, who's a part of the Blue Band. Hi, Keith.
Hi. Thank you so much for bringing me on.
So what is the Blue Band here at Penn State?
So the Blue Band is the marching band. You typically see us performing at the fall football games, performing in the homecoming parade. But it's around 320 members, about 270 instrumentalists, 30 silks, 14 Touch of Blue members who are our majorettes, a feature twirler, Jillian Brooks this year, and a drum major, which is me. So we serve as ambassadors Penn State, as the Blue Band. Yeah, kind of performing and entertaining crowds.
And what would you say is your specific role when it comes to the Blue Band, and what responsibilities does it entail? It seems very intense.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm the drum major. So the part that most people see is I'm the one that does the flip on the 50 each game. That's the big part, but it's so much more than that. It's being a leader. It's helping people, teaching. There's really so many facets throughout the season that the drum major takes part of.
And how have you guys been preparing for the blue and white game coming up?
Yeah, so with university guidelines and with COVID guidelines, it's difficult to get together as a full group, especially considering this is our off season. But the group is filled with talented musicians, so I'm sure that they'll be ready and good to go this coming Saturday. So very excited. We'll see how it goes, but I think that, like I said, all the people that are part of the organization are very talented and ready to go throughout the off season, no matter what holds.
And as you mentioned, with COVID-19 and the pandemic impacting the Blue Band's preparation, how did it affect you guys as a whole this past year?
Yeah, so obviously the big thing is you didn't see us performing on game days. We weren't allowed in the stadiums. We did our best to do virtual performances, so we had virtual performances. We took the time on the whiteout. We performed at Panzer for a viewing party there. But really we were just happy for the opportunity to be able to get together in person and still make music and still bring that and have that experience, because that's so important.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So what can spectators of the big game expect from the Blue Band this week, especially for all the first-year students that never really had the opportunity to experience something like this before?
Well, we're going to do our best to make it as close to a normal game day as possible through playing our fight songs, playing our normal pep songs. Really, like I said, try and get that game day feel back, something that I'm sure everyone missed this fall. But for the real deal, for all of our performances, people are going to have to tune in next fall whenever we hopefully are back on the field.
And what would you say the Blue Band's impact is on the Penn State community as a whole, past and present?
Yeah, I think we serve as really a source of pride. We serve as kind of a symbol. We're a pep organization, so that's what people see. We're always positive. We're doing our best to make a positive impact in the community and as a whole, but the Penn State community specifically. So I think that the Blue Band has a massive, massive impact on the entire Penn State community.
Yeah, no, I definitely have to agree. Well, as freshmen are just days away from their first genuine Penn State football experience, as proud Penn Staters, they will be captivated by the school spirit and pride that the Blue Band adds to the game day atmosphere. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Keith.
Thank you again so much.
Protests continue in Minnesota after the death of Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old black man who was shot and killed by a police officer. The protesters gathered at the Brooklyn Center Police Department before the police used flash grenades to get rid of the crowds. The mayor also implemented a town-wide curfew in an attempt to stop the protests. Tensions were already high before Wright's death as the trial of Derek Chauvin, the officer who choked and killed George Floyd last May, was ongoing. Wright is the second black man in 10 months in the state of Minnesota alone to be murdered by law enforcement. The officer who shot Wright was identified as Kim Potter, who has been with the Brooklyn Center Police Department for 26 years. She has now resigned from the department as of just a few hours ago. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Wright's family and those affected by this senseless tragedy.
This week, Arkansas became the first state in the nation to prevent physicians from providing gender-affirming treatment to transgender minors. This was set into motion after the Grand Old Party overrode Republican Governor Hutchinson's veto of the measure. He claimed the now law is extreme and a product of cultural war in America. At least 28 other states have looked into passing anti-transgender measures that mostly target the rights of transgender and non-binary children and teens. Many believe the influx of anti-transgender state bills comes as the Biden administration has moved to expand the LGBTQ rights. In a statement to the press, the American Medical Association views the measure, quote, as dangerous legislative that is intrusive into the practice of medicine, end quote.
Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh and the husband of Queen Elizabeth II, died Friday in the Windsor Castle. He's been hospitalized for various ailments over the past several years, most recently in February, according to the palace. His death comes in the midst of a lot of turmoil in the royal family. In Oprah Winfrey's exclusive interview with Prince Philip's grandson, Prince Harry, and his wife, Meghan Markle, the two explained why they left the royal family in the past year, which was due to allegations of racism and cruelty committed by several members of the royal family. Philip retired from public life in 2017 and has only made appearances when being taken to or from the hospital dealing with different health problems. He was 99 years old.
Since March 20th, 2021, the 7-day moving average of new COVID-19 cases has consistently increased in a weekly upward trend. This is due to the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions throughout the country and the presence of an even more contagious variant of the virus. The most common variant currently circling the United States is the B.1.1.7 variant, as it is extremely contagious and has been reported in all 50 states. In terms of vaccinations, injections of the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine are now put on hold after the rare blood clotting disorder was discovered in several recipients. Dr. Peter Marks, the director of the Food and Drug Administration for evaluation, stated, quote, "We are recommending a pause in the use of this vaccine out of abundance of caution," end quote. The CDC is still recommending Americans to do their part in social distancing and masking up.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.